If your heart and your mind are aligned with God's favor, there's no way that you can fail. Don't worry so much about the how. The how is God's business. You leave the how to God. All you have to do is maintain the vision and create a clear enough vision and maintain that vision, and every single day move closer and closer to that vision.
I think if you focus more so on the why do you want this to happen? What is your purpose? What is your intent behind it? It's kind of like things correlate, but equally so, I believe everybody has a point in their career, and when they have a vision and when they start a business, something just clicks. They have an idea.
Most successful entrepreneurs go through that phase. I call it the cocoon phase, right? Where you're a caterpillar, you're in the cocoon, you're not exactly where you want to be, you feel uncomfortable, you're going through the metamorphosis of converting from a caterpillar to a butterfly, but it's part of the game, bro.
What is it that you think that takes entrepreneurship to that second level of growth?
Bro, I think that
Guys. One day, I'm going to put it on camera. We are going to have very soon 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And when we have the 100,000 subscribers,
I don't want nobody coming back and saying, oh, I believed in him. Oh my God, he's the best. I've always known him. He's been always so talented. Save that shit. Save that shit, because none of you guys ever fucking believed in him whatsoever. Because if you did, you'd be a part of his life on a consistent basis. So fuck you.
I don't think that way. I love you.
I do think that way because that's the way the world works.
Okay, don't put the mic so close to you, please. Thank you.
I'm not going to put the mic so close. I'm going to hold it right here.
Thank you, brother. All right, guys. So obviously we are in a different scenery. This may have been top, I think, 3, maybe top 1.
Top 3, I like that.
Top 3 or top 1 most cinematic, crazy sceneries, guys. We are in the heart of Miami, in Brickell, right? Doing what? Guys, making moves, impacting lives, about to inspire you guys for the next 30 to 40 minutes.
To 60 minutes. To 120 minutes. Who knows? Because I can go a long time, bro.
I mean, we could make it a 4-hour thing.
We could fucking sleep over. Listen, guys, welcome to the Put You On Game podcast, okay? With yours host, truly, Marc Anthony Salvada, podcast where we bring high-level individuals to help share their stories, inspiration, and the ins and outs of their business in hopes of you acquiring the necessary skills to move forward in your life. Today, I have my brother, my partner, my content strategist, I could almost say second-hand man, Jacob Giron.
I thought this was for my podcast.
It is. It's for both. We're going to have 2 separate introductions.
Well, guys, welcome back to the Leaders Talk Podcast, right? The place where you will learn from leaders amongst every industry, right? From CEOs, executive, entrepreneurs, investors, influencers, politicians, guys, the list goes on. And for what, right? Because we don't want to waste time. Your time is money. To ultimately develop into the leader that you are designed to become by learning from powerful leaders, their stories and their advice that they share.
You guys hear that? That's a Lamborghini SVJ somewhere in the street.
Clearly, we're in Miami. That's money. That's money talking. But guys, we're about to drop some gold, some valuable information for you guys, right? Like you said, he gave me the intro, but I'm gonna give him the intro, guys. Obviously, right now, I would consider us partners. You guys see the car. You guys, that's a glimpse of the success. But for over 5 years, has been one of the most successful wholesalers down here in South Florida. Guys, killing it in the game. How many deals are you doing a month?
Brother, so we are doing anywhere between 8 to 10 deals on a consistent basis. Uh-huh. And the truth is that I always say it's not me. On the contrary, it's the service that we provide to the world through God. I'm simply the vessel that he uses.
Well, he's trying to be humble, but the guy makes a lot of money. Let's just put it out like that. We'll get into the specific numbers, the specific knowledge, the specific know-hows in a bit. But guys, like I said, somewhere, well, I don't know if I said it, but somewhere in the link in the bio, go follow him, follow the podcast, the Instagram, so you guys can stay tuned for the clips and see the behind the scenes of everything that's been happening. But guys, let's get straight into it. So for those of you that don't know Marc, right, I think I'll make a bold estimate, like the next 12 months, 24 months, you're going to start to pick up a lot of noise. You're going to start to pick up a lot of attention, a lot of eyes. And I think what's most important is documenting that process right before you do. Because you're able to tell who the person is, like right before they blow up, how they say, yeah, look, I'm going to be the number one so-and-so. I'm going to make it with the podcast. You could really tell. And I think you're at that point right now where you have the business going on. You've been doing this for the last 5 years. You've now gotten to the point where now you're making the money that it's like, okay, now let's take this to the next level, and now you're starting to create the content. Let me ask you, before all of this, for those that don't know, what was your background? And I want you to be very raw with it, because I know your background before the money, before all this. I've seen the pictures of the background, but for those of you that don't know, or for those that don't know, what was your background before this?
Brother, so my background, I was born and raised in the beautiful city of Hialeah, in East Hialeah to be exact. And I always say to people, you know, there's two types of people in Hialeah: the people that make it out and the people that don't make it out. Luckily enough, I've been blessed and have been one of those that have been able to make it out and contribute to society in a large way. To answer your question about my background, I come from relatively humble beginnings. I don't come from any money whatsoever. My father was a professional salesperson, but never, you know, made an exuberant amount of money to be able to give us absolutely everything and anything that we wanted. It's very interesting, you know, I was raised by my grandparents from when I was 3 months old till I was 8. And my grandparents instilled in me things that we don't see in today's society anymore. Things like integrity, morals, respect, honesty, love, and doing everything out of love, you know? Brother, I mean, how deep do you want to go? Like, what specifically about my background would you like to know?
The reason that I asked that is because there's something that I will say on this channel. I'm going to make a shirt about it soon, guys. Stay tuned for that. But I think leaders are ultimately not born, they're made, and they're made through a lot of adversity. They're made through a lot of times in their life where you could have said, I'm not worth this. Like, you know, all the things lined up in my life. How can I ever become more than what my present situation is? And the reason that I asked that is because, like you said, I know you didn't come from exuberant amount of money. You didn't come from what you have right now. The reason that I specifically asked that is because, do you think somebody out there, whether they're young, whether whatever age you're at, you can make it regardless of your background, regardless of if you had money when you were younger, if you didn't have money, if you had the parents, if you didn't have parents? Like, you think anybody can make it?
Of course, brother. This is the greatest country in the world, and I often say that if your heart and your mind are aligned with God's favor, there's no way that you can fail, right? As an entrepreneur coming up, right, early on in my career, as well as the people that I'm sure are watching, you are undeniably going to have that fear, that uncertainty, and that doubt. Not just in external circumstances, but in circumstances within yourself. You're gonna ask yourself, you're gonna be full of doubt. Hey, am I on the right path? Am I doing the right things? Am I making the proper connections? Am I taking the right steps to move me forward in life? But I think that the most important thing is having a vision, creating that vision, and maintaining that vision when that uncertainty comes up, when that doubt comes up, because holding that vision and really sticking to that vision through the good, through the bad, through the terrible, through the great is what's going to be the determining factor of your success beyond not quitting.
Let me ask you, specifically when you were younger, when you were 19, 20, 21, did you have a specific vision as to what you wanted with your life, or you envisioned?
Bro, at 19, 20 years old, I've always had visions of greatness. I've always had visions of making money. I've always had visions of impact. I've always had visions of influencing people for the better. But I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that, am I further along than I was when I started? Absolutely. But am I exactly where I want to be and the vision that I see for my future in the form of decades? Absolutely not. I'm still very much new in the game. I'm 30 years old, and at this point in my life, I'm establishing myself and my business as an honorary business and a man of my word in business that performs on what he says he is going to do and doesn't back down or buckle at the knee for anything or anyone.
So I want to dig a little bit deeper into your response, because something that I'm experiencing right now, I know with the podcast and the agency, is that you don't need to know the how as to 100%. How this is going to happen. I think if you focus more so on the why do you want this to happen? What is your purpose? What is your intent behind it? It's kind of like things correlate. But equally so, I believe everybody has a point in their career, and when they have a vision and when they start a business, something just clicks. They have an idea and they're like, oh, damn. Like an enlightenment. They're like, oh, damn, this is what I want to do. This, I'm going to do it. Like, did you specifically have a moment in time where you almost Like you knew this was gonna happen?
Brother, so I think that a strong enough why will overcome any how. We've had this conversation before. Don't worry so much about the how. The how is God's business. You leave the how to God. All you have to do is maintain the vision and create a clear enough vision and maintain that vision, and every single day move closer and closer to that vision. Whatever it is, I would tell you this. The question that I am about to tell you, is this decision that I am going to make going to get me closer or further away from my business? Is it going to get me closer or further away from my vision? Is it going to get me closer or further away to the goals that I want to accomplish? If the decision that you're about to make gets you closer to your goals, then take that decision. If it doesn't, then back away from it, because the truth is that we're not here for a long time. We're here for a short time. And what we do with our time is the gift that we give back to God.
Okay, I want to ask you something because I want to really get below the surface level with this one, because I know on social media, on podcasts, on online in general, it's very easy to see all the successes. And I've heard a lot of people talk about this, but it's very easy to see the car, the watch, the success, you talking like this. But I think there's also a period where you're like the complete opposite. You're going down the wrong path. You're not making any moves. You feel like ashamed of yourself. You feel like a failure. Was there a point in your life where you were like, bro, I'm not proud of the person that I am?
Bro, of course. I think that most successful entrepreneurs go through that phase. I call it the cocoon phase, right? Where you're a caterpillar, you're in the cocoon, you're not exactly where you want to be, you feel uncomfortable, you're going through the metamorphosis of converting from a caterpillar to a butterfly, but it's part of the game, bro.
But did you specifically, what did that look like for you?
Bro, that looked like for me many different things, bro. Going down the wrong path, hanging out with the people that I wasn't supposed to be hanging out with, doing recreational things that I shouldn't have been associated with, you know, like drinking, like doing all sorts of things that, looking back at it, I say to myself, wow, not only did I spend a bunch of time, money, and energy, but I also wasn't living to the potential that I should have been at the age of 20, 21, 22, 23. Which, to your point, at 19 years old, I think you're absolutely crushing it, because I look back to myself when I was 19 years old. And at 19 years old, not only did I not have the correct vision, but I was nowhere near as far as you are. Which is a huge testament to your future success, because at 19 years old, if you have the mentality, the mindset, the ability, the know-how, the connections, and the drive that you have at 19 years old, there's absolutely no way that you're going to fail. There's just, it's a statistical and mathematical impossibility if you stay down this path.
I want to talk about failure on that thought, because I had an experience recently.
I got you. Go ahead.
I had an experience recently that literally like 2 days ago, and I called you. I was like, bro, like, I feel like I'm just doing all the right things, but nothing's panning out. And it goes back to two things, right? I heard something on, I think it was a reel or something that I saw. It was like, sometimes we do all the right things, we just don't do it long enough, and we don't do it consistently enough. And that's all the problem to all the results that you feel like you're not having. And then on top of that, there's a lot of patience that is involved with getting anything 100%. That you want for your life. But I also believe that there's a period of like, damn, am I failing? Am I doing something wrong? And like, let me ask you, for somebody out there that is feeling like that is feeling like, bro, I feel like a failure. I feel like I'm making the calls, I'm doing this, I'm trying to reach out to people, nothing's panning out. What is your word?
Brother, so you have to understand that the same day that you plant the seed is not the same day that you are going to eat the fruit. You have to be able to work consistently, okay? You have to be able to work disciplinedly, okay? If that's a word, I don't believe that's a word. You have to be disciplined enough, okay, to consistently work over time, even not seeing the results. A quick story to that is, bro, it took me 13 months and 18 days to see my first check in real estate. And everyone around me was telling me to quit. Every single person, every single person that I had around me, okay, when I quit a professional sales career, making well into the six figures, and I quit cold turkey to pursue real estate full time and not a regular agent, to be an investor in real estate that saw 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months down the line, not making a fucking penny, looked at me like I was crazy. They looked at me like I was fucking crazy, and they told me, yo, you're wasting your fucking time. You need to fucking quit, and you need to go back to selling cars. That's what they would tell me to my face.
So what is it in that moment that is pushing you forward, that is keeping you?
Bro, at that moment, I'm a fucking do or die type of person, bro. I'm the type of person that when I create that vision for myself, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter. I am not going back to selling cars. I am going to succeed or die trying. It doesn't matter. So that's what I did. Took me 13 months and 18 days to see my first check. My first check was for $1,500 on my mother's birthday. $1,500 after 13 months and 18 days. I almost cried. But then at that point, I knew that it was real because it monetized and it came into fruition into my hand. So at that point, I said, okay, I am onto something here. Okay, the previous 13 months were a learning experience as to what not to do. Now I know what to do. Let me double down on that. Let me focus on that. Let me eliminate all distractions and let me really put my head down and work.
Let me ask you, because I think my father used to always tell me something that a wise man learns from others' mistakes. So I think people can learn from your mistake. Obviously, 13 months, ideally, if you want to speed up the process, I think you can speed up the process. As for you, looking back now, what was that mistake that it took you 13 months to make your first paycheck? And even when you made your paycheck, it was $1,500. Like, what was that mistake?
Brother, the mistake is thinking that I'm fucking Superman and I can do everything by myself. Wanting to do everything by myself and not seeking the proper guidance.
So delegation.
It's not so much delegation. It's so much as it is to get together with somebody that already has the results that you seek so that you're able to align with that person and that person can help you grow and bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. 100%.
So the moment that your business skyrocketed and the moments that you started seeing massive paychecks and massive movement is when you actually seek counsel from somebody that was already doing what you were doing.
Of course, I started to seek counsel from somebody that was already successful in the business, and I was able to acquire the necessary skills and then go out and do it on my own and replicate that through, hard work, dedication, reaching out to people, surrounding myself with people that are doing deals, cultivating good relationships with buyers, cultivating relationships with attorneys, speaking to sellers, a multitude of things.
I think that's powerful what you said, because I'm realizing more and more as I grow up, but there is power in your network. There is power in your relationships that you have. There's power in the counsel that you seek and seeking the right counsel, because I feel like a lot of people can get advice but may not be from the best person to get advice from. But
bro, to that, it's very simple. You can never take advice from anyone that doesn't have the results that you seek. It's like taking tax advice from a roofer. Why would you take tax advice from a roofer? On the contrary, you take tax advice from somebody that has the ability, the know-how, and the experience dealing with taxes. Why would you take financial advice from someone that isn't where you want to be financially?
let me ask you, because I know, like you said, you sought counsel and then your business skyrocketed. You started making more money. For any entrepreneur out there, not so much specifically wholesaling, like in the macro, like.
And it's not just wholesaling, it's real estate investing as a whole.
100%. Outside of that and just entrepreneurship in general, what is it that you think that takes entrepreneurship to that second level of growth, to where they're making more money than they ever thought they were going to be making, where they actually have time freedom to do the things that they like, but still work on the business? Like, what is that next level?
Bro, I think that undeniably and unequivocally it starts with personal development. Because you can be around the right people, but if you don't believe in your ability to perform and execute, it doesn't matter. So I think that it comes from personally developing yourself, okay? Personally acquiring the necessary skills to sharpen the sword of your life, okay? And then once you become that person that is equipped with that unbreakable and unshakable mindset, is coming alongside people that are successful in the business, and bro, just putting your head down and working, bro. Everybody knows exactly what it is that they need to do. They just fail to execute. It's very simple, bro. It's very, very, very simple. You just need to put your head down and you need to get to fucking work. That's it. There's no magic formula. If you came on here and you thought that I was going to give you a secret formula so that you can make 7 figures in the next 12 months, that's not it. You have to work.
I think we covered a lot. I think we can get more in depth. Obviously, I know our time is limited. I want to respect this guy's time, but as well, there's a topic that I want to specifically go down and the avenue that I want to go down, and it's your faith. I know we talk a lot about it off camera. We're very close. We talk a lot about God. We talk a lot about Jesus. As for you, how do you run a business and still maintain your relationship with God and walking with Christ? Because I think you're like, oh, I could afford anything. I'm paying off my house, my car, everything.
It's a huge mistake, bro, because God can give and God can take away.
Exactly. So as for you, how do you not balance but grow a relationship with God while still growing your business?
Bro, the biggest thing that I do the moment that I wake up, the first thing that I do is I sit on my mat and I pray to God, bro. And I always say, God, use me as a tool to positively impact the lives of those people that I come across on a consistent basis. It's as simple as that. It's, bro, the thing with real estate is you have to understand that when you're dealing with these sorts of people, they're making the largest financial transaction of their entire lives. So you have to treat those people with the integrity and the respect that they deserve. God knows your heart and he knows your ability to perform. So if God blesses you with that business, if you treat that person properly and you ensure that they are better after having met you, God is going to continue to funnel in that business into your life and into your work, into your business, into everything.
So do you believe in, there's something that, and I want to end off with this because I know my father and a lot of people used to always tell me like, oh, the number 1 or 2 things that you keep out of business is religion and politics.
That's the silliest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
You know what I say to that, and this is kind of the status quo that I challenge with the podcast, with the people that I interview, is that I don't believe in religion. I believe in faith, and I walk by faith. And I think the most important thing is understanding that the engine to your business is God. The engine to
your entire existence as a human being is God, bro, let alone your business.
100%. And I think your ability to grow your relationship with the Lord and lean on the Lord and not your own works is directly what dictates the success that you have, because he says, if you're faithful with the little, then he'll give you more.
100%. 100%.
I want to end off with this because I know a lot of people watching may not follow Christ. I know a lot of people watching may not believe in God. What do you say to that person that says, well, look, bro, you talk really good. You're energetic. Yeah, you probably sell a course, bro. You're doing good, whatever. But I don't need God. You know, I can do business on my own. I can make the calls. I can do all these different things. I don't need God.
Bro, what I would say to the person that says that they don't need God, I would look around yourself, and if you're successful and you have all the things that you want, I know deep down in your heart that there is a void that you're looking to fill, and that void will not be filled with anything materialistic. Everything in the world is so magnetically and mathematically perfect that to not believe in a higher form of creation is truly naive. I don't know what else to say other than that, bro. If you look around, it's like, it's so perfect. All of the organs in your body, the way that your limbs work, the way that you're able to process and think of things and speak and go 90 years without needing an additional heart, like all of that is so perfect that if you don't believe, it's because either, number one, you haven't had a coming to Christ because you haven't had any terrible situation where you've had no option but to turn to the Lord, or number two, you haven't lived enough of life and you're truly naive. But the truth is that I genuinely believe in my heart that at one point or another, whether it's too early or too late, it's never too early, but whether it's too late, people have a coming to Christ.
And I think that's something that
Ya nos vamos. Thank you. I appreciate my man out here. He gave us the ability. Okay, we're out here in the beautiful city of Brickell with my boy Jacob. We're leaving now. Anything else you want to cut off with?
Sit down so we can end the thing.
Go.
But I think everything that you said was on point. I'd like to piggyback off of you and end it with that thought that what good does it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his own soul? For those 100%. Of you that are watching and that haven't had that coming to Christ moment. Maybe you have, but you're just hardening your heart because, hey, you know what? I don't want to have rules and regulations in my life. Guys, that's not what it is. It's a walk in faith. It's a walk in understanding that all your steps will be made for you. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the interview. We are definitely going to do a part 2 if enough of you like it. I'm going to throw a crazy number out there. If 1,000 of you like it, we'll do a part 2 and even cooler scenery. We'll make it 1 hour long, going more in depth on entrepreneurship business, how he has scaled his business to a 7-figure business, guys. If that's something that you want, 1,000 likes. 1,000 likes.
Let's get it.
I know you can do it. But guys, I'll see you on next one.